Hello, welcome to the Critical Obsession podcast. My name is Mirella,
And I'm Zoe.
and this is part two of our discussion about episode three of Not Me. Another car transformation.
Yeah, and it's even more obvious and more evident in this scene, I feel like, that he
Yeah,
really doesn't want to go home. Like,
yeah.
he has to resign himself to it. Like, it's like,
He
he's
does
so,
even does this long sight, like, oh no.
yeah, like,
It's hard for him.
he so just does not want to go back to how he was. And it's so interesting to me because I don't, as I said, I don't think I ever really read it that way previously. Like, I think I
Hmm.
just was like, oh, he's tired or whatever. But
Hmm.
it's so obvious to me now that I see it, that
Yeah,
like he is just like, I don't want to. Please don't make me.
yeah.
The very thought of it is just like, to the bones, I don't want
Heavy,
to. Mm,
heavy. Yeah,
yeah, for
especially
sure.
when he goes there, the first thing that his dad starts questioning him. His dad knows about the interview already, and he
And
tells him that it upset people.
yeah, but like the first thing he says to him is, "Don't you know anything at all?"
Oh.
Like, wow, really, really, Dad? What is it with GMMs and dads?
What he means is, are you unaware of how things work here?
Exactly. Yeah, he says you made people upset with the answer you gave.
Interesting choice of words. Upset people.
Yeah.
Not even disappointed or, you know,
Mm.
confused or anything. Upset.
Mhm.
Their fragile view of the world or whatever gets threatened with such an answer, so it upsets them.
Mhm. And then
And
like,
the way he answers, that.
yeah, he's just like, "Oh, so now we have to deal with that." Okay.
Well, yeah, it's because he has been getting ready. He's been expecting this. Maybe this is why he hasn't been answering. He knew it was coming. He knew they'd have this interaction, and he just was trying to not
Avoid it.
avoid it, but yeah, let's say avoid it. Yeah. It's really funny though, the way he answers. Just take the blame and quickly resolve the problem. And then his dad suggests a different answer, which is basically a lie.
What they're saying is, how do you tell the Thai people? Like, 'cause so they're saying you can't tell the Thai people it's because we're breaking, humanitarian laws. That's why they won't accept us. So his dad's like, you've got to make something up, basically. And he's like, I love how he says to him, your answer is devoid of the truth. I can't say that. Like, he's saying, like, we must tell, like, we must admit to it. We must say to the people, look, okay, we fucked up, but let's fix it, and then we can resubmit and we can be a part of it or whatever, because we'll be better. Like, he's saying this is
Mm.
how we do it. And his father's like, oh no, you can't say that. And then he's like, like, I get it, I failed, right? And we get the, no, you passed, what you said was right, but too blunt. The jury's liked you, though. They think you're brave. If you were some other guy, you would have been flunked. And it's like, White is the bull, and his dad just waved the red flag.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And he's like, some other guy? Like, but I'm your son, and that's how I passed. Other people have to work hard to get here, but you used your connections. And his father freaks at that, even though it's blatantly obvious that that's what's going on. I mean, you know, introducing him to the guy at the dinner, like, all these, like, kind of, I guess, innuendos of, like, take care of him and offering, like,
Hmm.
extra study material, and, you know, I'm sure he'll work well under you, like, without even having to, like, no, without even talking about the tests and stuff, and or just everything about that You know, the fact that he knew the results of both parts of the test, let's call it, before, you know, he was meant to, like, so much privilege going on, yet he's so in denial of the fact.
Yeah, his dad chooses to see and define this as seniority. This is
Yeah.
all about seniority for him. It's not about privilege. So he found a word that he can, like a concept that he can use as a shield to defend himself, to hide from the truth of what's actually happening.
Yeah, like he's like, don't talk about the ministry like that, like it's some secret object to him,
Yeah, yeah,
and 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 White is just like, it's cheating, like literally what is happening right now is cheating. Like, I can't accept it. I won't kind of accept it. Like, they are not speaking the same language, him and his father, right now.
I think something like this must have happened to Black. Some kind of a interaction like this must have happened between Black and his mother, and that's how they stopped talking.
I assumed so, but I feel like, I mean, it was funny because my mum and I, as I said, we had many theories about what
Mhm.
happened between Black and his mom. But I vaguely remember having a conversation with her about a different, not a theory, but like a you know, like a thought process as to what could have possibly happened. And I feel like there's a big difference between Black and White's characters in that, even like when they were kids, Black was way more kind of, I guess, skeptical
Mhm.
than White, and he seemed to see the world in a different way already.
Is this correct though? Because I feel like if you're more skeptical, you don't really fight. I feel like maybe White was the most skeptical one because Black kept fighting. Black had hope that things could change. White kind of gave up.
No, well,
Black
I don't
had
know.
to make and ask for White to keep fighting for himself, to keep fighting for what he believes in.
I don't know. I don't know that I necessarily agree with that. I feel like part of White's mm, thing there is fear and maybe a little bit, or not, ignorance is the wrong word, but like naivety, I guess. I yeah, I don't know. I feel like
I
Black
feel like
was
it's that, but
skeptical and
also,
angry.
yeah,
Angry
but
because he sees more.
I
But
feel
yeah.
like maybe with White, he is skeptical, but he learned to mask these things, to dissociate himself and not see them,
I don't know. I don't. We might have to disagree.
to
Agree to
to
disagree
lie
on
to
that one.
himself.
Maybe to lie to himself. Yeah, maybe. But I feel like, I think as well, like, he
I
was
don't see him as a naive person at all.
not now, but as a kid, I'm talking about as a kid, when they're kids, because he
No, because
looks
that's,
to.
if he, like, if we remember that moment when they when White was beaten
Yeah,
and
yeah,
Black went and fought for him.
yeah,
Why do I assume that he was just naive or like scared or something? Maybe he just thought there was no point in doing that. And Black had to fight and he was like, no, fight, keep fighting. And this what did Gumpa said to him? There's no fire in you.
yeah.
Your um
But
heart is weakened.
he doesn't have the fight. But that doesn't necessarily mean that he's skeptical. That just means that I don't know. I just don't think he was aware, as he definitely wasn't aware of the way Black was.
But we don't
This
know how much time has been Black has been aware. Maybe
No, no,
something
but
like, maybe he followed his mother's rules for a while, and then at some point he woke up as well and
yeah,
started
but
fighting against
he
her,
was already like
being rebellious.
angry. He was already kind of angry and like,
Yeah, which
mm,
explains why he got here to this point so much faster than White.
yeah. So, but what I'm saying is you don't you're not like that kind of person, like from a child, unless there has to be a reason as well. Like you're not just an angry kid for no reason. So like I was just saying, he's more aware of the world when they're kids than White is all I'm trying to say. But what I was thinking is, you were talking about like maybe he had this confrontation with his mother. I wondered, Mum and I had this conversation about whether or not maybe because they were studying laws, right? So he was studying law, so maybe there was a case, maybe something happened, and his mom was like working on it because she's a judge, right? And she made the wrong choice for like reasons. She's saying using air quotations. And when he argued, like when he went to her to, question why she'd done, and it may not even have been like something that happened, like it may have been something that he learnt while doing study that maybe, like she had like um let someone off or done, whatever, like come up with some sort of judgment that was very clearly the wrong, one or something. And when he queried her about it, she didn't give him the response that he wanted, I guess. I tried to do the whole like don't question don't question the authority thing that like White's dad's trying to do to him, and Black is not the same.
I like seeing the way White and Sean change themselves as White finding something to die for. So I kind of feel like he did not really have anything that he felt was worth fighting for. So finding Sean did light up this fire inside him, and suddenly
Mm.
he is motivated to see the world for what it is and fight.
Yeah, especially once he understands as well, like why Sean's doing what he's doing, like how it's connected. Because this is what I was sort of mentioning in previous podcasts, is that when you can see something affect and how it affects the person or people that you love, suddenly it's way more important. It becomes way more real. It's part of your universe as well.
Sean becomes the person that Black was for him. Black used to light up this fire inside him when they were children, and
Make him
now
bruise. Mm.
it's Sean who is kind of similar to Black.
Mm. And then I think also I said in the previous podcast as well about how um the changes that White makes in Sean are things that like were things that um and the reason why Black didn't want Sean with White necessarily is because like Sean essentially has no hope like when they first meet. Like he's just anger and like revenge and doesn't care if he dies, just wants to make sure that
Yeah.
like Tawi is punished, and he really doesn't care. He has no self-preservation. His only self-preservation is tied into the fact that he doesn't want to die before his goals are accomplished. But if he does,
Yeah.
then that doesn't matter as long as he takes down Tawi as well, kind of thing. And that would have been something that Black valued in Sean, like for the cause. But
As a
then later on,
member of the team, yeah, he's
yeah, but
useful as a member
that's
of the
right,
team.
that's right. But later on, um, before like because he's like willing cannon fodder kind of as well. So but later on when like suddenly this guy's your little brother has like his affections attached to this person who, as far as like doesn't care if they live or die, that's not the kind of person you want, and who is angry and who is like volatile and full of rage is not the kind of person you would want for someone you love. Yet
Yeah, this
these are
is
the
this
what?
this is why episode 10 happens and what happens,
Oh, for sure,
between
yeah.
Black
But
and
this is
Sean.
oh
This is
yeah, but
the
this is like
explanation.
yeah, no, but it's interesting. What I'm saying is it's interesting in because we're talking about Sean and White specifically, their character development. It's interesting because like that isn't even a thing anymore at that point in time because
Yeah.
White makes Sean want to live.
Yeah.
You know, like he still wants to fight, but now he cares if he dies because he doesn't want to die.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah. So it's kind of interesting that there's a whole heap of drama kind of in a way for like no reason. But that's the whole thing, isn't it? This is what happens. Like you don't know. All he knows, like all Black knows is his version of Sean, just like all Sean knows is his version of Black in the beginning. That's why White is like messing with him so much because they don't marry up at all.
Yes, and then he storms off, and we never see the dad again.
But do you know what I love about this bit where he leaves is that he um he leaves the car
Leaves the
behind,
cave
he throws the
of the
keys,
car. Yeah.
he doesn't take anything with him except for like his bag and what he's currently wearing. Like he's literally rejecting all of his father's privilege in this scene, like when he just leaves the house. And as you say, we don't see or hear from him again, which to me is really weird because like you feel like he would be panicked because essentially White has been given this job that he is very clearly not going to show up to, um and that reflects very poorly on him. So, and he's clearly very much about appearances and stuff. So I always thought it was really strange, but I believe Pinucci said there were meant to be some scenes, but they just didn't have time to include them. So I don't know how they would have gone or what they would have entailed. I would have liked to have seen him again and had some closure, but at the same time, I don't think we necessarily missed out in not seeing him again. Um,
Mm-hmm.
like I don't think it really mattered. Like I don't feel like the show is lacking anything because of it. I think it would have been good to have it, but I don't think it needed it. Like it's one of those sorts of things. Um, but I do like the way he leaves, like because he could have taken the car. I mean, he doesn't need the car; he's got Black's bike, but he could have taken it because he still had to get from where he was to wherever Black's bike is parked. And I mean, oh yeah, you know, he could have taken a taxi or walked or like whatever. But like, I like the way they did that. The way he just left. He didn't even go upstairs and pack a bag. He just left. So
Yes, and then the next time we see him, he's at the garage. He's wearing one of Black's amazing jackets.
I know.
And I
I
was just
like
like,
that one. The one with the lightning that lights up under the blue light. I like that one, but I really love the black one. I
oh my God,
remember.
I am obsessed with the black one.
I
I
know.
wanted it so badly.
I know. I remember everyone was just like, "Now this is a merch that GMM could have put out, and everyone would have just friggin' bought it because we were all obsessed with these jackets." And it was such a
Such a pity.
It was such a pity. I feel like they sold a jacket too. So like I'm sure they sold a jacket for like, oh god, what was it? Was it Cupid's Last Wish or like some other GMM show? And I don't know, it wasn't a jacket that I would want to buy. Um
Mhm.
and I'm just like, it was such a missed opportunity because it's not even a hard jacket to make. Like it's like denim with like some like spray paint on.
Yeah.
Like you could make your own if you really wanted to. But um yeah, it would have sold really, really well. And I'm just yeah, but he looks very good in both the black and the lighter jacket, which is
He
interesting
does.
actually. I might pay attention, I think, a little bit to when he actually wears these jackets because it's interesting. Is this the first time we've seen this particular one? I think it is.
Yeah.
So he wears this here where he's had his realization, he's down and whatever. I'm curious to see if there's any because they are a light and dark thing, so it's probably has no symbolism whatsoever, but I'm curious now, so I'm going to pay attention and see if there's any symbolism as to when he wears it, because why not? And then later on you'll ask me about it, I'm like, I don't know, I can't remember. I'll be like, I
So,
wasn't paying attention. But yeah, it's I mean, of course he
so,
had to go to the garage, didn't he, because it's a safe space for him now, plus he's been invited essentially.
yeah, Angumpa sees White and he's clearly crushed. He's not okay.
Yeah, he says
And
to him, "Are you in trouble? I can see it in your face." And then he says to him, "It's okay if you don't want to talk. You can vent it out over there," and points it to the boxing bag. Is that what you call it? A boxing bag? That sounds wrong to me.
I have no
Punching
idea.
bag. It's
Asking
punching.
the wrong person.
It's it's a punching bag, not a boxing bag. Punching bag.
His
You're
monologue
asking
here,
the wrong person.
the whole scene here is amazing.
Mm,
It is one of the best scenes from the whole series. And we cannot do it justice. You have to go and watch it. It's a
mm.
brilliant.
Once again, illustrating how amazing of an actor Gunn is.
That, but also the way they edited the scene is
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
just beautiful. We have Unar painting his picture of privilege and white breaking down and this whole monologue and the music. It's a piece of art.
Mm-hmm.
And then we see,
Oh yeah, because we have the inner monologue. The because I was born with privilege, I'm closer to the finish line than others. The rules are clearly unfair. Um,
yes,
and he also mentions about how like no one wants to lose. And he also says to himself, "I'm angry for never seeing that I've always been part of the problem." And I was just like, "Oh, ouch."
yeah. And then we
Mm.
see the painting that Unar paints, and
Yeah.
it's basically um, an image of privilege because there are people who represent the privileged ones dancing on the heads of others,
Mhm.
which means that privilege is built on other people's exploitation.
Mhm.
And the people who are dancing on the top, it's like there's a piece of land and it's on top of the people who are at the bottom, and they cannot see the ones who are at the top. They cannot see the people from the bottom. Everything that they see is beautiful and water and just everything is green, and like they can be happy without feeling,
Yeah.
seeing other people being
They
miserable.
they're like dancing, I think, too. They're not just standing, they're like dancing on them.
They are dancing. It's
Mm.
literally called the dance of privilege. I think it's something like the dance of privilege, and
Yeah.
it's a circle. They're dancing in a circle,
Mhm.
and Yok is looking for him, and he realizes that he's close to the place when Unar posts the picture of the new painting on Instagram. It's on Tavis Sports Stadium, which we know politicians do this. They sometimes sponsor things just so that people know that look, I gave these people money, I created this thing, and
Yeah.
where did they
Look at
take the money from, huh?
It's like, look at my latest tax write off.
Mhm. So, and then he goes there and they see each other.
And then the chase is on.
It's really intense. It's the way they look at each other.
Except I always laugh whenever I see this scene because of Yoke or the first like running with the motorcycle helmet in his hand. Like I would
Yeah, yeah.
like drop that thing. Like why are you still running and holding him? That it would have been so awkward. I feel like I don't know.
It
It's
messes with his balance, I feel like.
yeah, it's such a cumbersome thing to just be like running around with too. So I
But
feel like it's one of those things. If you like, I mean, I guess you could be worried about someone stealing it or something like that. So there's a practicality in it. But I'm like, I feel like if I was gonna chase somebody, which I'm just putting it out there right now, is never gonna happen. I don't run unless I am specifically being chased. But yeah, and so but like I feel like if I was going to run for some reason, even I was holding something, I would probably just like drop it and just like pump my arms or something. I don't know. I don't run. I haven't run since I played soccer in like high school. So no, actually that's a lie. I ran when we were on a houseboat once and I got bitten by ants. I ran really fast that day. I don't know why I thought I could run away. They were like literally climbing my body, but maybe I thought the aerodynamics would like brush them off or something. But yeah, I ran through the Australian bush screaming my head off with my sister chasing me. Um so yeah, that was fun, but yeah, I don't know. I
You
so
wish you had a helmet to fight them
I
off in
did.
that
I would
moment.
have like been beating myself with that helmet. Yeah, no. Um
Pinar looks so mysterious and vulnerable in this moment. And when
well, he pulls a
Yok
gun on
catches up to
him.
him, yeah,
Yeah.
when before that, when Yok catches up to him, he pulls a gun on him and he says, "Don't follow me if you want no regrets," which is
I know.
something that it's a
Like if this
very
I'm like if this isn't foreshadowing, I don't know what is.
it's a very heavy thing to say. It's something that the way I don't know how it sounds in Thai, but if you want no regrets, it sounds like something someone who has regrets would say.
Yeah, well, I mean, we know he has regrets, but like also I feel like with him specifically, it's like he he doesn't want to get involved. You know what I mean? Like the whole thing with him is it's like
He doesn't want to face. He he's running away from his past. He doesn't want to face. He wants to fix things that he doesn't really want to face what he's done.
yeah.
He
And I
doesn't
think
want to face reality.
yeah, and like like we see this, anonymity, not sure if that's how you say that word, with his artwork because he doesn't want anyone to know who he is. But also it's almost like he doesn't, besides that, and I know I'm going to have trouble getting this out. He doesn't want to like own it either. You know what I mean? Like it's hard to explain. It's
Yeah,
like
because it's
this
like
is
he's trapped and he himself is a part of why he's trapped in this situation,
yeah,
but
yeah.
he cannot escape at the same time from the things that are haunting him, and so they burst out of him in the form of this street art that he's doing.
Mm-mm. And I feel like this is the bare minimum of what he can do. Like this is all he can do. This is as much as he can do, and he won't even commit to it fully in that, like in letting people know who he is. You know what I mean? And so that is not really somebody that you want to have a relationship with, because if they can't even commit to taking ownership of their artwork, like a relationship, like being someone that you can count on, who'll have your back, who's going to put their neck out on the line for you. I don't know. Is he that person? And I feel like he's telling Yoke he's not that person. I am not that
Yeah, it's
person.
like in yeah, it's like in the this movies or like with vampires or something, like don't fall in love with me. I am bad news. I'm a bad person. This is
Yeah.
basically what he did here.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
a red
that's right.
flag.
Yeah, yeah,
Don't
yeah,
get
that's right.
involved with me.
But
Yeah,
like what is with Yoke though? Like I feel like Yoke's like twink meter, like his I don't know what is broken, because this dude just
I
put a
feel like
gun in your face.
I feel like he has this savior complex. He saw that vulnerable face. He saw this mysterious thing. He clearly sees that this creature is hurting, and he
Mm-mm,
wants to save him.
mm-mm. And I think a lot of it is seeped in the art aspect of it as well. Like that's a connection that that like only they
Mhm.
share. So, but it's just like I don't know, man. Like, yeah, red flag. He's got a gun in your face, and he's basically just said, "I will break you."
Yep.
And Yoke's like, "Yes, please." Oh no! To the point where he forgot his food that he'd been waiting for like some amount of time, because he was getting frustrated with the person cooking it. He's like, "Are you done yet?" But yeah, so I'm just I actually had forgotten that that was how that scene ended. I was thinking, um I was thinking we were ahead. Like I was expecting a different scene when he started chasing him, and then when he ran into like the open kind of area, I was like, "Oh, that's right, he pulls a gun." Um but yeah, he's just yeah. and like, would you really chase somebody in the middle of nowhere on your own at night in the dark, and you don't know who this person is? And he's
Well,
he's
you could.
yeah, well, he would, because he's like
You
so
know what?
into it.
He has a helmet, Zoe.
Oh yeah, perhaps that's why he didn't let go of the helmet, so he could use it as a weapon. Like, it's like there's like a saying about not bringing a knife to a gunfight. I'm pretty sure a helmet's not going to be a good idea either. Don't bring a helmet to a gunfight. But yeah. He could have been like, when Una pointed the gun at him, he could have been like, wait, put his helmet on. Sorry. I've amused myself. It doesn't take much. It's 4 a.m. here. Like, come on, you got to give me that one. But yeah, I'm just like, that might be why he didn't let go of it too. Because I mean, I suppose they are kind of hefty. It would be a good weapon if he needed one. He clearly did not think he needed one though, because he just left it at his side while he stared longingly at Una. Like, he looks at the gun for like 2 seconds, and then he's like, "Oh yeah, it's not that big of a problem." I'm like, I'm I'm all but waiting for him. Joey from like Friends, waiting for him
Uh-huh.
to do a "how you doing" kind of thing. Because Yoke is so down for him. It's so funny.
So let's go watch part four.
Okay.
Part four.
Mm-hmm.
So Sean calls Goomba here. Is this where it started for him? For White?
Maybe, but like, but that doesn't necessarily mean that Black does. Just because I feel like Sean
Yeah.
is probably more respectful.
No, I mean maybe White heard Sean call Goomba here, or maybe the other boys also call him like that, and he started doing that as well. But yeah, I'm having a hard time imagining Black calling Goomba here.
I know, right? But yeah, let's talk about Goomba for a minute, because I'm like, Goomba,
No,
what are you doing? I'm
no,
like, are you?
no, just
I'm like, are you matchmaking here? Are you shipping them already? Like, what is your end game here by putting them in the same small bedroom when there's only one bed and a whole heap of tension? Like,
no, because when
seriously.
he's closing the door on them, I'm half expecting him to start skipping like la 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 la.
Well, I watched him very closely, because very closely. That is not a word. I watched him very closely to see if he had a smile on his face as he was leaving. He didn't, but if he had of, I would have just been like, "Oh, you snake!" But yeah, so Goomba taking White to Sean's room and telling him he'll sleep in the same room as Sean is just like hilarious, basically. Um. And I also like, it's so funny, like when he knocks on the door and Sean answers, it's so very specific the way he's all like, he will stay here for a month. I'm like, how did you? What's the parameters? Like, how did you decide on exactly a month? And he's like, he's in some trouble. And it's like everyone's forgotten, including White, that like Black has an apartment he could be staying at. Like, what the hell? But I love how
No,
Sean's like,
no, he hasn't. Gumpa asked him to come and live at the garage to teach him how to act like Black, basically, to teach him how to defend himself, to make things easier,
yeah,
to train
but
him.
that's not what he says though. Like, that's not what he says to Sean. He tells Sean that he's in trouble or whatever. And I love how Sean's like, "What kind of trouble do you have?" Like, he's like,
Well,
"What?"
if he knows that White is White, he cannot tell that to Sean if he wants to protect White's identity, right? So
Oh yeah, yeah. But I just like. I think Goompa is just waiting for everyone else to work it out themselves. I don't think it's that he
yeah,
necessarily is protecting anything. I think he's just like, yeah, these guys are dumb. But
just like
like,
when they were watching Sean and White fight, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm just watching. I'm here for the
yeah, like
show."
he's like, there's nothing on TV tonight, so I'm just gonna see what happens here. Um, but the I love how Sean's just like, what kind of trouble do you have? Like, he's like,
Yeah,
what trouble could you possibly have? And he's like, and White's like, I could stay somewhere else. And Goompa's like, I own this garage. And I felt like I had this moment in that time where I was like, I feel like I could suggest having a drink every time he says, I own this garage, or this garage is owned, this garage's owner. But in actual fact, I think that's like the only couple of times he says that.
Yeah.
Which is a shame, because now I feel like that would have been a great drinking game. And also it would have been
A
one of those like,
gay drinking game is Gumpa made me do it. This one would be a good drinking game.
but it's like, you know when people say things like in sitcoms and stuff, like where someone just says something really random and everyone just stops what they're doing and kind of looks at them for a second, then no one comments and then just keeps doing what they're doing. Like this would have been a good bit for him because he's just like randomly. I'm like, yep, that's okay. You own the garage, yes, okay. But and then and like he's like, I have the right to say who sleeps where. And Sean's like, but I work here. Like, what's he doing? He's just like, nah, it's my decision. But I love how he shoves the stuff, like the blankets and stuff, in White's arms, and then shoves White in the room, and then just shuts the door and walks away. But it's like even better because of the way they're just standing there in the room together for like 5 seconds. Like no one moves; it's just standing there, just like Sean, 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 Sean. Sean, why wouldn't you let him leave the room? Because, like,
Oh,
White tries to leave and Sean stops him by blocking the door so he can't open
yeah.
it. And I was like, mm-hmm. And he's like, are you scared of me? And of course, White is definitely going to be
Uh,
like, fuck no, why would I be
episode
scared of you?
9.
Yeah.
Episode 9 flashbacks. Are you
Yeah.
scared of
And
me?
And then he's like, and I'm like, what are you trying to accomplish by keeping him in your room? I'm like, Sean, 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 Sean.
Zoe, Gumpa made him do it, okay?
Yeah,
Gumpa
okay,
made
good.
him do
Everybody have a
it.
drink. And I love how he's just like, oh, where should I sleep? And he's like, you on the floor, like that's your place. And White just ignores him and sits on the bed. Um,
And then they continue with this conversation of like, "Are you scared of me?" And White is like, "Why would I be scared?" And then, what would you do to me?"
uh-huh.
And then so it's like, what could I possibly do to you, Black? Please.
I love there's two things that Sean does in this scene that I absolutely like. The when he says to him, "Don't you even think you'll get to stay here comfortably?" It's like, well, is he gonna be uncomfortable because like you
No,
guys
I
are.
think he said that. I think he says that because White sits on the bed and he jumps a little bit, and it's not a good bed. He
I
does
think
not
he's
feel
just like I think he's just like trying to make him feel uncomfortable, but like I'm just
trying to provoke him. He's playing with
it's
him.
there's too much tension in this room. But yeah, now that you've mentioned the bed, I feel like the bed needs to be mentioned. Like, oh my god, it's so loud
Yeah.
when they move. It's like, and that's enough about that. But the other thing that I love is I love how bratty Sean is in this scene. White sits on the bed, he puts his bags next to him, and then Sean sits down next to him and just like shoves the bags on the ground. Like he's so bratty. And then and White's like, "Why would you do that?" And he's like, "Well, that's because this is my bed and that's your bed." And then there's like one bag still on the bed, and he just like uses his feet and just like kicks it on the ground. Like he's just like, "These are beneath me." Like he's so bratty in this bit. It's just really hilarious to me.
And it's also even more hilarious that when White asks him to take the stuff off the bed so he can lay down, Sean tells him to do it himself, and then proceeds to help him because he looks at his hand and is like, "Oh, poor baby, he cannot do it himself. It hurts him."
I know, right? And I feel like because he's clutching all these things in his arms, he's clearly being very awkward because of his injured hand. That's correct.
Yeah.
But I feel like I have to be that person and mention the veins in Gun's arms in this scene.
The third character in this scene,
Yeah,
yeah.
And I'm just because I feel like they need to be mentioned because it's just very nice. Okay, it's just very nice. All right. Anyway,
Yes,
moving
and
along.
I like the way Sean watches him because it's very weird for him to see Black this vulnerable because Black is
Yeah, yeah.
vulnerable. Clearly, something happened to him. He is physically hurt. He's in his space now, and Sean is very aware of it. He uses this information, the fact that he is clearly the owner of this space, against White to try to get a reaction out of him, to try to make him uncomfortable, to try to establish some kind of a domination or something in
Mm-mm.
this interaction that they have. But still, he keeps watching him and he's confused by the feelings that he's having while seeing him being vulnerable because he just cannot even though he's doing all these things, he backs off. He still does what White wants him to do.
Yeah, and it's interesting too because, as you said, like he watches him, like he's observing him, and White is not only being vulnerable, but he's doing all these like just like normal everyday things, which I get
Mhm,
the impression that Black would not have gone there and like hung out with them. Black would not have
mhm,
gone there and just like, you know, had a sleepover or like whatever. Like he would have gone there and planned and trained and like that's about it, I reckon. And so seeing him like getting ready for bed and like doing all this sort of stuff would probably be really weird too, because this is just
mhm,
not something he would have seen before. And I feel like it's just it, it's so interesting because, as you said, Sean is like at first he's very bratty and he's like, your place is down there and blah blah blah, but he doesn't really fight White when he says about sleeping on the bed with him. His thing is just like, if you want to do it, you have to, as you said, move the crap yourself, and then he ends up helping him, as you said. But like, I remember seeing, I don't know if it was a behind the scenes clip or if it was on the DVD or something, but there's um because after this scene, Gun, not Gun, White looks really vulnerable again, and he sort of asks like where the bathroom is, and
mhm.
there was meant to be a scene where like Sean helped him take his pants off and stuff. Um,
Pants
but
off,
it,
shirt.
yeah, and pants.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. And I
Because
think from
he does mention that I helped you take your shirt off, and I was like,
well,
excuse me.
yeah, well, they actually filmed that they filmed him taking off his shirt, and then I believe
Yeah,
Pinucci was like, and now the pants or something like that, and the two of them wouldn't
I
stop
think that was a
laughing.
joke. I did see the behind the scenes, and they
Yeah,
joked
yeah,
with
yeah,
them.
yeah. But like they did actually film him taking off his shirt or whatever.
Yeah.
But they didn't include it. So yeah, and so why in the bathroom? I'm just like I'm watching him in the bathroom and there's like
This
one
sounds so weird
toothbrush.
taken out of context. I'm sorry.
I said, I'm like watching him in the bathroom and there's like one toothbrush and he's just like, oh yeah. And it looks new, but it has to be Sean's, right? Because it's really only Sean who like uses that bathroom. Because it seems like the design of it makes it seem like you can only get to it through that room.
Yeah.
So it's like, it has to be, so like he's using Sean's toothbrush. And I really don't know what to do with that, honestly, like at this point in time. But
Me
yeah,
neither.
yeah.
I mean, he
And
just
I'm
did
like,
the drink from his mouth after they thought, so maybe why does not have issues with this kind of
true,
stuff.
true,
I don't
true.
know.
all, all these indirect kisses. But yeah, and I was
Uh-huh.
like, I'm watching this scene and I was having this weird, like, introspective moment where, like, I'm like, I was just thinking, this is nothing to do with the show. It's just one of those weird things. As I said, my brain is a scary place. So, like, where, like, the director could, in a show like this, could be like, okay, now pretend you're, the action here is you're going to, like, pretend to clean your teeth or whatever. And it's like, no, I want you to act like you're cleaning your teeth. Sorry. And it's like,
Mm.
but like he legit is actually cleaning his teeth. I don't even know what I'm saying right now.
I'm not sure. I understand what you're saying.
I was laughing at the irony of like, having being given the action, like, action, like You know, act like you're cleaning your teeth, and like to clean your teeth or to act like you're cleaning your teeth, you actually physically have to clean your teeth. That's what I'm saying. This is the weird thoughts that was going through my brain. Why White was like cleaning his teeth. Anyway, I had to think of something else to say. Otherwise, I'm gonna have Sister Ma stuck in my head all day. So it was that or that happening.
Okay. Um,
But like, okay, so the whole bathroom scene with the towel, I'm just like, oh god. Like really, like I don't know. I'm just like I'm not
you
really
know,
sure what I'm not really sure what Sean was angling for here, honestly.
I think I know, because what his interactions with Black must have been quite serious or aggravated, with animosity or whatever, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And if something like the way White flicked Sean on his face, on his forehead, would happen, if something like that happened between Sean and White, it would be mocking. It would be like
You mean
some
Sean?
like a very uncomfortable moment,
Mm-mm.
a humiliating moment. It would be humiliating. But with White, the vibe is completely different. White is playing with him, like
Yeah. So you
kind of
think he was
flirting
just?
with him.
You think he was like teasing him?
Yeah, so I think Sean started responding to that. It's like this dynamic has established between them, and he leans into it hard because he's actually having fun with it.
Yeah. I mean, I think so too, but I'm also now wondering if he just like a little bit wanted to see his backside because I don't know, right? Like there's playing and then there's like what the hell was that? I
Yeah, I don't know
assumed
what the hell is that.
yeah, I honestly don't know what my feelings are about this entire scene because it's just it's there.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't.
I feel like if anyone else had done this scene, it would have been so cringy and like probably really upset me. But I just can't watch this scene without like a stupid grin on my face and the urge to kick my feet like an idiot because it is kind of like cringe but like not at the same time. Like I don't know, it's I think because it's just
I'm thinking maybe Sean. When a person is naked, they're vulnerable, right? So Sean keeps seeing
so interested to see where you're going with this. Sorry, please continue.
White in a vulnerable state,
Yeah.
and this is another opportunity to get him to be even more vulnerable.
I
And
like how you're, I like
imagine
how you're being sensible, and I'm like, do you think he wanted to see his butt?
this is the same thing, basically, said in different words, with different words.
You're like, I'm being more professional. Yeah. No, I think so too. I think you're right. I think he's definitely testing him because like he says to him, you know, when he's like, "Why did you do that?" and he's like, "Well, how would I know that you would just like fall into me because you know, in the past I could fly kick you and you wouldn't even move. Like
Mhm.
this is like he's like what are you doing but it's just it's so funny because they're just in that position for a really long extended period of time and the fact that
The
neither
night in slow motion, though, it's slow motion. What is funny to me is how White keeps clinging to the towel, even though, like, 2 minutes ago, he did not pick up a book because he was hurting so much.
yeah but he also wasn't naked when he was trying to pick up a book. Maybe that was the motivation. Ah. But no, like, yeah, well, there was this slow motion, but like, then they're actually there in that position for quite some time, and it's like, there's there's not really a huge freak out. Like, yes, like White like pulls himself away and everything in a quick
Hmm.
manner, as you do, but it's like it takes like Sean just kind of stands there, and then it just takes them both a really long time to
It's like
move
they're
after that.
very comfortable being that
Close.
intimate with each other.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Like
because
it
that
doesn't.
room that they when they were closed in that room, there was this moment of when they just stood there because suddenly the atmosphere, like the it became so intimate. And
Yeah,
he
yeah,
was
yeah.
watching them like do the normal thing, normal stuff like picking up books or undressing. It's also so intimate and like, but it doesn't bother them. It doesn't
No.
feel weird.
And it's interesting too that you mentioned that, because when Gunpa first shoves White in the room and shuts the door, and they're sort of standing in that, literally in that really small space right near the door there,
Yeah,
and like Sean is just standing there watching him, and when he tries to move away and like panics a little bit and leaves, he stops him, and it's just
yeah,
like, what is your end game, boy? But it's funny because they're doing this, they're moving into this zone, they get really, really comfortable with each other. And it's interesting because later on, um, we have a scene where this space is invaded, let's say it, let put it that way, and White freaks out about it because it becomes their space really, really quickly.
yeah.
Like it shifts from
Hmm.
Sean's room to their space really quickly. And it's like they I don't know whether they just don't realize how comfortable they are with each other, or like what it means that they're this but they sort of move into this thing where they still antagonize each other like 95% of the time, like in the beginning here, but like when they go into the room there, they like kind of come together in a way and just are like feel safe, I think. Do
Yeah,
you know what
because even the way White falls asleep, he falls asleep looking at Sean,
Yeah, well,
turn
I was,
with his
yeah,
face turning to Sean.
yeah, I mean, I was thinking about that because, like, they have that whole moment, where, um, well, first off, before we go upstairs again, like when we're both downstairs and that, and he, you know, Sean gives both us and also White a bit of information about the fact that he has trouble sleeping, essentially.
Hmm.
And then we have the whole "you read a lot" conversation, and he's like, "Someone like me doesn't look like a reader," blah blah blah.
Again, the privilege talk, Sean
Yeah,
putting White where it hurts. The moment when White tells him his mother, not to mention his mother because they're not in touch anymore. Basically, you could replace the mother with the father here because now it's his situation.
yeah.
And
But also, the
Sean
mother's not
tells
a
him,
part of his life either. You know what I mean? So it
yeah,
fits
but
either
I think
way.
in this situation it's more reasonable because he applied it to himself. It's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
about black. But Sean tells him that it doesn't matter anymore. You're still ahead of me. I still have
yeah.
to work more.
Yeah, that's what he says. Like, and he says to him, "In a shitty place like this, where I have nothing, I still must even work harder." And that is kind of true, because like he tries to say to Gunpa, like, "I live here, I work for you, like this is part of me, my privilege of working here for you, and now you're saying like anyone can move in and not have to do anything. Like, why am I here working?" Like, so
I'm just thinking that, he had to work and study. White
yeah,
just could just study. He had a comfortable life. It was so much easier for him to get ahead because he had time, he had energy.
yeah,
He was in maybe surrounded by people who studied and motivated him and encouraged him. For Sean, it was different. He had only himself to rely
yeah.
on.
Mm-mm. And he says, the way he says in his inner monologue about how Sean just confirmed my thoughts, and I'm like, read confirm, like I read that as like confirmed my fears.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't realize it, but he is putting so much trust and comfort in Sean. Like, these are things that, like, he's it's how he's starting to gauge the world. Um, and it's so interesting. But yeah, he.
Sure. And then he says, then his journey as an activist starts with the questions: if the rules aren't fair, is it right to break them?
Mm-hmm.
This is not
Yeah.
something. This is not something a diplomat or a person of law um, would think. This is not the way they would think, or the way their brains would function. I feel like,
Mm.
or at least not how they should guide themselves.
Yeah. But yeah, and so like what you were saying is like when he goes to lay down, it would make sense in this situation for him to actually turn away from Sean and give Sean his back. Because, they're not
Yeah.
friends, they're not like whatever, but he doesn't want to be alone in this moment. So he lays down with Sean in his side. Because even though whatever the hell's going on between them, the animosity and like all this other tension and stuff, like he would rather see Sean than not see him.
Even though Sean just told him, "You're a privileged brat who is ahead of me, not because you're better, but because your life is easier,"
Mm-mm.
he still wants to see him. He still finds comfort in seeing him. Yeah.
Yeah, in having him close.
Hmm.
Yeah, I agree.
So then White wakes up and he starts investigating, and I'm like, what is his reasoning here?
Yeah,
He
it's so
already
funny because
decided
like
for himself that Sean is not involved in his brother's
he's
attack.
clinging to the excuse to have a
Hmm.
reason to like get to know him better, essentially. Because there's no
And
other
then,
reason for it, like honestly.
yeah, and then Sean wakes up, and I admire White's quick thinking here,
I know, he's so
finding.
quick. He is so quick in this. And in actual fact, he is really smart in that way. So like even, like earlier on,
Yeah.
when I was talking about like when he was a kid being like a little bit more naive, less like whatever aware, whereas you disagree, we were arguing about that. as
Hmm.
as as he is now, he's very quick and he pays attention to everything. The really funny thing is he's like he's missing what he himself is doing, and also like although he spends 95% of his time focused on Sean, he's not really like he it's one of those things. I think, there's that saying like you can't see the forest for the trees because you're like you're looking too hard. Like he's looking for the wrong answers to the wrong questions. If that makes any sense at all.
The, the,
Like,
the answers to the wrong questions, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and
Because
he's like
he's
this several times during the series. This quick
yeah.
thinking manifests
He does. So when they're
multiple
in
times.
this, that's right. When they're in the heat of the moment, making plans, whatever, he's very clever. Like he's actually
Yeah.
fits this world that he's stumbled onto very, very well because you know, um, he's very good at it. Even though he doesn't always
Yeah.
agree with the plan, agree with what they should be doing, he's very clever at coming up with the alternative or whatever. And so,
And then Sean wakes up and sees him. I mean, and he's like, "Oh, now I'm going to hold your hand." Nice justification to hold his hand. I'm surprised
I
he didn't
know.
say goodbye. He made me do it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's like this is the thing where he's just like, I'm gonna hold your arm like this, so I know if you're gonna get up and, snoop some more or whatever. And it's like, just say you want to hold his hand and be done with it already. And then, of course, they lay down on the bed, and it is so. Once again, it's like, and I'm just like, uh huh. Um, and then the way they look at each other, please, like the way they just both keep looking at each other, like, and then like catching the other person looking and then stopping and like pretending they're not looking, and it's just like, okay. I'm like, yeah, stop looking at each other while you're holding hands. It's very, very unnerving. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But the fact that like they're so comfortable just even being together like that when they're meant to be, essentially mortal enemies. I mean, on one side it makes sense because, like he doesn't hate Sean, but also
Yeah.
but then at the same time, it would make sense for him not to feel safe or comfortable because he also doesn't know Sean. Like Sean essentially is a stranger at the beginning, but they
I'm
are way
thinking,
too comfortable
mhm.
with each
I'm
other.
thinking White must be very confused by Sean's behavior because if you think about it, Sean was very aggressive towards him.
Mm,
White cannot is not a person who will sustain this kind of an interaction, right? So he tries to soothe him in a way.
hmm
And then when he feels more comfortable, when he gets to know him better, when he starts trusting him, he starts playing with him.
mm,
And the weird thing is that Sean responds with the same thing. White must be very confused by Sean's behavior
because
because
he's sometimes aggressive.
he's hot and cold. Yeah, he's so
Yeah,
hot
yeah.
and cold. He does not have a reason. He does not know why Sean clings to that anger yet. I mean, he will
No,
find
that's
out
right.
and it will
Yeah,
upset him. But
it's
right
really,
now, he must be so fascinated by what's happening
yeah,
between
yeah.
them.
But it's so interesting because, as you said, it's like this really weird. Like there are so many. Like even this scene. Like I want to say to people who didn't see the romance in this or see it coming, what were you watching? Like even just in this scene, okay? So like Sean
You
clearly
keep
has no idea. But like
calling people out, Dory.
in this scene, he like White tries to leave, he stops him and
Hmm.
keeps him in the room, right? Even as he's telling him like you're not welcome here, he like won't let him leave. And then he's like, you know, you won't be comfortable. You're gonna sleep on the floor, kind of thing, and then helps him clear off the bed so there's a space. Um, he's basically like, I'm not gonna help you, and then we find out that not only did he help him get undressed, he also took him a towel when he realized he didn't have one. He could have
Hmm.
just let him like drip dry, like do a nudie
Yeah.
run to the bedroom, like, but he got
Yep.
up, went downstairs, and took him a towel. Like this, like he keeps
Then he
because they,
played with him, did not give him the towel right away. He played with him.
yeah, like I don't know, it felt flirty to me, but anyway.
Yeah.
And then it was such a challenge, wasn't it? And then, but then he got right in his face about the privilege thing and like it's so interesting the way he's back and forth. But he's like that as well.
Hmm.
You know, like when they were fighting, when they were sparring, he was legitimately fighting with him. Then when he, you know, was fixing him, he was gruff and he was like, I don't want to do this. But then he was also the one who was like, does it hurt? Is it
Hmm.
better? But like in like soft tone,
Yeah.
like you know, like he's just there's such a um interesting contrast in the way he
Hmm.
treats White and
And I love how once he knows who White is, he's 100% soft. There's
mm-mm-mm.
no trace of the animosity.
Yeah, well even before he knows, like before he realizes that White is
Well, yeah, yeah.
like
When I wanted to
once he
say, while
accepts
yeah, once he decides that he wants to
be with this
just dive
person.
into this, yeah,
Yeah, he's like, yeah, that's right, he's
yeah.
100% down. And it's just and they're so interesting and I feel like it must be weird. I mean, it's not explicit. We're not explicitly told. We don't really know like what White's background is, like in terms of relationships and things like that. We know he had a girlfriend. That's about it. Um, but you know, if Sean is like the first guy that he has feelings for or something, then this also would be really confusing. And you like, because it definitely seems like that might be the case because it's like it's almost like it doesn't even occur to him that he has those kind of feelings, but like he like later on he clearly does. Like he reacts in such extreme ways to things that happen. The only explanation is that he has feelings, but like it's like he doesn't
But
even occur to him to I don't think I think two things happen to White in respect to Sean. I think one is that maybe he has never had feelings like this for perhaps another guy, but also I don't think he's ever had feelings like this at all, period. Like the girlfriend clearly was like an out of sight out of mind thing, like he wasn't mourning her or anything. So like maybe he'd
And
never
besides
been,
that,
in
I
love.
don't think and besides that, I don't think he thinks he has the right to do anything about these feelings because he's playing the role of Black.
Yeah.
Only when White, only when Sean just tells him right to his face, oh well, whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I'm more obsessed with you or whatever.
Sure, yeah,
Like he cannot
Sean pushes
resist it.
him.
He cannot resist giving him this comfort. He cannot resist giving himself to him.
Yeah.
But he would not dare do it on his
On his
own,
own.
even if he
Yeah.
knew, yeah, what he felt.
Yeah. And that to a certain extent is like the entirety of his life up until when he meets Sean. He's a bit tentative with everything. It's like
Yeah.
one of the things that his brother used to complain about, like where he's like, stick up for yourself and and don't hang back
Is
and
it
try this
funny
and try that.
that this happens later? I mean, in episode 11, when everyone is, when, he runs away from Sean. Or was it 12? Well, when he runs away, when Black comes back, so he runs away because he feels like he does not have the right to do something about it because it's not his life. And at that time, he has to go against Black, even though, Black is the one who teaches him you have to fight for
Mm-mm.
what you believe in, blah, blah, and he has to go against Black um, to do
To have
that,
Sean.
to get
Mm-mm.
what he wants. Yeah.
Mm-mm. Yeah, and I think maybe essentially that is that's what provokes Black into realizing that he's serious and that he's for real about this, because
Yeah.
he stands up to him essentially.
Yeah.
So he fights for it, as you said. But yeah, it's just like the as I said, this episode had so many like interesting, super like tension charged moments in it, um that were fun to watch, and but also like quite interesting and thought provoking in regards to like who the characters are and who they're going to be. Um and it's like this was a good episode. I really liked episode 3. I mean, I liked all the episodes, but like I really do like this episode. As I said,
Yeah.
the fight scene is a brilliant scene. As we mentioned
The
earlier, the
scene
scenes,
with York's mother, the
yeah,
scene where with the conversation with the guy that is
also
wants to
wanting
be
to
a
be a fluent,
diplomat as well.
yeah,
Yes, the
and
scene where White fights the punching bag.
yeah, and
Amazing.
I'm also gonna throw into those as well, the two scenes where he switches back into his white persona,
Yeah,
are brilliant as
definitely.
well. And even this scene of them in the bedroom, like just before they lay down to go to sleep, where they're talking about privilege and stuff, is so good as well. I remember watching this scene and just being like, wow, they were both amazing in this scene. Both both Off and Gun were really amazing in this scene. I feel like I was so I believed them so much. Like I believed the characters so much. Like I didn't,
Yeah,
when you watch,
they
you
feel
know when
very real. They feel very
yeah,
real. These
but like
people. Yeah.
when you watch a show with well-known actors and actresses or whatever in it, especially like it's always the danger, I feel like, for a pairing like this where they make movies or shows or stuff like that together quite a bit. Sometimes it's harder to fully get absorbed in the story or whatever. Like if they're good actors or whatever, you do, but like
Mhm.
I feel
Do you
like,
mean you see the actors instead of the characters?
yeah, sometimes, sometimes you do. Like, I mean, like, for example, I mean, like if you're watching a Julia Roberts movie, like even if you're into the movie, like you're aware of the fact that she's Julia Roberts or whatever. But like,
You know
it's like
what?
when I,
I disagree. I just recently watched a movie on Netflix.
Yeah.
with Julia Roberts, and she had a monologue at the beginning. In the beginning of the movie, and I was so entranced by that monologue. I was like, wow, this was freaking amazing.
Was this that
So
really weird movie where like with the like
and
the family in the middle of nowhere?
yeah,
I haven't finished it. It
not
was such a weird movie.
not in the middle of nowhere. They go
But
on a
like, well,
vacation.
yeah. But with all
Oh,
the deer and stuff.
yes,
I need to finish watching it. I was like, what the hell is this?
it's good. It's really good.
But yeah, so but you know what I'm saying? Like, well, okay, I was using her as an example just because she's in everything. But like, like in this scene, like when I was talking about it, I said Sean, and it wasn't just a Zoe like mixing her names up. Like I literally was talking about Sean. Like in this scene where they're in the bed and they're talking about the privilege and that, I really just saw them as their characters so much. They were so real, I feel like, in this. Actually,
Yeah,
I feel like all the characters are pretty real in this show. Like I very rarely get pulled from it, like
sure.
from the story. Yeah. Um,
Same.
but yeah. So
So
I don't know. We could just keep talking for ages, but like I feel like at a certain point, we need to, I don't know, pull the plug. Because if you
so
don't,
let's do it now.
I was gonna say, because if you don't cut me off, I'll just keep talking.
This is it. Thank you for hanging out with us. Follow us on Tumblr, on Twitter, on Spotify. Interact with us.
Yes, and we have a Ko-fi if anyone's interested. I'll link it in the post for this episode. Bye for now.
Bye.